And now, it's Boomer Life, lifestyle discussion designed to make your life more engaging, meaningful, and complete. Celebrating the baby boomer generation, this is Boomer Life on Sea 650.
Happy New Year, Happy New Year, may we all have a vision.
Well, if you're still able to sing, join in the chorus. Happy New Year! There's some ABBA music to start off this episode of Boomer Life here on Sea 650. Good morning, I'm Sterling Fox, joined in studio by ShawnWilson and Jillian Fullerton, our friends from Baptist Housing and ShannonOaks, Vancouver. Happy New Year and good morning to both of you.
Yeah, same to you, Sterling. Great to be here.
Happy New Year, Sterling.
Thanks very much. Sean, good to have you back with us on this first program of 2016.
Well, I wanted to start the new year out on the right foot.
Well, there you go. Okay, and you've had quite a year. 2015, Jillian, you and I have talked all the way through 2015 with the odd appearance by your friend, Mr. Wilson here.
Not frequent enough.
Not obviously, but you've had a terrific year this year. 2015 has been an excellent year for ShannonOaks.
Yes, it has. It's been wonderful. Things are just falling into place. The place looks lovely. Over the Christmas holidays, it was just a jewel.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, our maintenance team did such a good job of decorating the courtyard with lights. People who lived on the courtyard looking into it did not close their blinds at nights because it was like a fairyland out there with all the lights and the figures, and it was wonderful. So,
now, the last time, Jillian, you and I got together on the radio was about a month ago-ish, and that was the day of the Christmas open house.
It was indeed.
So how did that go?
Oh, that was so successful. It was our most successful one we've had. It was filled with people of all ages, little children, their parents, grandparents, and great-grandparents. I mean, it was wonderful. There was Santa Claus. There was music. We had Jennifer Lauren playing the music. We had all sorts of goodies and food. We ate so much of the goodies. We'd been baking. Sharon and her team had been baking and baking for days before. But the fragrances that came through and the people.
And of course, Santa Claus was one of our own residents who began to grow his white beard many months earlier to get it into a nice, healthy, Santa-like, robust, white, glistening beard.
Oh, and he's wonderful. Jack is wonderful.
But he's athletic, so I think he had to do a lot of stuffing to, fill that uniform.
That's right. But and the Christmas open house, you were just saying, was one of your more successful open houses. Might that have had something to do with the fact that you were here on the radio on the day of inviting any all comers to pop on by?
Well, Sterling, I have to tell you, we had some people come and said they heard it on the radio, and they came as a result. So
I'm delighted to hear that.
AM 650 gets their credit. Yeah, we were very happy to hear that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talk to us about some of the changes coming along in 2016 after, I was just going to say, ShawnWilson, now top that excellent year of 2015, but by gosh, you've got a few irons in the fire,
Well, it'll
you?
be hard to top 2015, but a couple of things that we've been working on is kind of a response to what we acknowledge as the growing needs within our own population is something that we're describing as enhanced services. So the residents at ShannonOaks will be able to purchase and have additional services being tended to if they require a little more support in the area that will help them maintain their independence.
Right.
We're looking to provide a means for that to happen so that they can, with dignity, continue to live independent and vibrant lives at ShannonOaks. So we're looking to roll that out this year, and we're pretty excited about the opportunity to have those services in place.
And would this be a service provided in-house by ShannonOaks as opposed to these people prior to this having to bring in outside, would you call them subcontractors to help them out?
That's exactly it. Because it's independent living, people have always and always will have the opportunity to acquire services from outside providers.
Sure.
But what we recognize that goes on in that is it isn't always the same consistent providers of those services.
Right.
And indeed, we have hired our own complement, a full team of care aides that provide a multitude of services. So we're excited about being able to be one of those that provide the services that our residents already are, utilizing and offering or getting through the different community outlets now. But to provide them in-house is exciting for us because it gives that continuous service, that continued support, that we would be able to play a role in that is an honor for us, and we're looking forward to this year to be able to do that.
And also, I would think to be able to maintain the standards that you want at all times, right?
Absolutely. And I think what's at the heart of it is that each resident will continue to have choice. And that's what our focus is for 2016 is what can we as an organization do or provide that will ensure and insist upon the highest degree of choice for each of our residents.
All right, and of course that plays, Jillian, into one of those many myths that you and I have spent so much time on the radio busting over the years. But one of them is that when a person goes to a seniors retirement community, but people who think this usually call them seniors retirement homes.
That's right.
And they say things like, you go to one of those places, and there's somebody with a clipboard. They're going to follow you around. You're not going to have a minute to your own time. They're going to tell you what to do every waking hour of every day. They're going to push you around. It's just no fun.
No.
And of course, Jillian, that's exactly the opposite of what it's really like.
What it is, as Shawn says, it's choice. And the more choices we have, any one of us, the richer we are.
Sure.
When we start limiting choice, then I think there is some poverty of spirit involved there. But when you open it up so that people have an array of choices, they feel good about it. I can do X, Y, Z, and I have all those choices open to me.
And the choice of not doing any of the above is also always there.
That's
I'm going to take
there.
today off. Thank you very
right.
much.
We will encourage people to get involved, and we do that around meals, sharing meals together. That's an important part is social interaction.
Sure.
But we encourage, they say yes or no.
And one of the things that we have incorporated is an enhanced dining service. So, for example, for the first time, we've been able to provide a fuller menu, in including whether somebody wants a glass of wine with dinner or if they would like a glass of beer with dinner. We also have some other sparkling beverages. So what our focus is on, or what are the things that we can review that we've been doing for the longest of times, and seek to have those things continue to be a benefit towards residents' choice.
Sure.
And so we are putting together a much more fuller, richer complement of things, and to Jillian's point, that people can choose to have or choose to not have.
Exactly, right. Now, Shawn, you mentioned a few moments ago, you were talking about the increased care assistance that's going to be provided effective now at ShannonOaks. And you mentioned in that sentence that if you wanted to maintain your independent living status, these services will be provided, and they have been in the past, but not by ShannonOaks.
That's
correct.
correct.
It's the independent living thing that I want to catch you up on here for a second, because as we discuss seniors retirement communities across British Columbia, and Baptist Housing, your organization, has 16 of them across British Columbia, they're not all alike, and they don't all offer equal levels of care.
That's right.
So on this first show of 2016, between the two of you, could you walk us through, please, the 3 levels of care that all retirement communities provide to citizens?
Okay. Well, you're asking the most key question, because those that may be listening may be living in a current scenario where they're in an apartment, a condominium, or in their own physical house that they've been in for many years.
Right.
So they're wondering, what would the transition be from this to something that I begin to acknowledge in my own life that I could do and receive benefit from moving to something if it tackles A, B, and C, or X, Y, Z for me. The first stage of senior housing as an option is called independent living. So that's an environment whereby all of the choice, all of the offerings are still up to you to choose to participate in or not. The difference, say, at a place like ShannonOaks is that we do all of your housekeeping and provide all of your meals. So if you are done to death with doing ad nauseum meal preparation and perhaps unhealthy meals, and if you're tired of housework, I've met very few residents that miss doing housework since they moved to ShannonOaks.
Right.
Well, ShannonOaks will be perfect for you. The next tier or stage of senior type housing is called assisted living.
All right.
So assisted living is for those that have an acknowledgement that they need a little more support. Perhaps they need help getting bathed, getting changed. In some of the medication needs to be managed on their behalf. So an environment like an assisted living, which Clarendon is, so the south end of the ShannonOaks property is Clarendon Court, it has the ability to provide that extra sustained support. The third tier of housing for seniors and support is called residential care.
Okay.
So that would be an environment, and Baptist Housing runs a couple of those sites, one in Kelowna and one in Victoria. Residential care would be a higher level of care. So that would ensure that you would have round-the-clock support. Usually there would be nurses on duty.
So there's a medical component
There is
to it.
definitely a medical component
Right.
to it, and there's a number of reasons why somebody would be living there. It's either that their physical body is depreciating in its abilities and their level of acuity goes up.
Right.
But also quite common are issues of dementia and Alzheimer's and those sorts of things. And so residential care covers a whole spectrum of healthcare needs, but it definitely requires round-the-clock assistance.
Right. Now, you at ShannonOaks on Waverly Avenue in East Vancouver, in Killarney, no less, you have, as you've mentioned, as Shawn mentioned, Jillian, you provide independent living and assisted living. Clarendon Court, which is part of the ShannonOaks complex, as Shawn just said, this piece of real estate has been part of Baptist Housing now for over 50 years.
That's right.
And Clarendon Court was the original, not this building, but it was originally called Clarendon Court, wasn't it?
It was Clarendon, was it not Court?
I think it was Clarendon Apartments.
Okay.
We should ask Sterling because he
yeah.
knows. He's done his research, hasn't he?
Yes.
I got the 50
Yeah.
years part right.
And yes, and it was essentially it was done by the Baptist Foundation, and it was for people who needed affordable housing.
Right.
That's basically what it was. Eventually, it turned into what they called then a care facility, which we today would call residential care.
Okay.
And then from that was taken down, and Clarendon Court was built. It was built after ShannonOaks was built in 2001, and I think Clarendon was around 2005, 2006.
Yep. Okay.
Along with another wing to ShannonOaks, so the two came together. So it's basically a fairly young building. I have to tell you, though, as you know, I've been in the industry for, over 20 years, 25 maybe. I'm not going to acknowledge that. But anyway, I have been in it, and I've seen lots of places.
Yes.
This is the best maintained place I have ever seen. It is, I mean, when there's something wrong, it's fixed immediately.
Right.
The carpets, the painting, it's so clean. It is so well maintained. I just have to give credit to Shawn as the administrator, who makes sure that things are done like that. But it's such a pleasure to show it.
But you know the best part about it? It's not antiseptic. You
Oh, no.
You
No,
walk
no,
into ShannonOaks,
no.
and it's shiny, and it's
Welcome
really
home.
clean, but it doesn't feel sort of hospital-y
No.
clean.
No.
It's warm. It's one of the warmest buildings
your
I've
home.
ever walked into. You
Yeah.
just instant home. It's amazing that way, Shawn. It has an immediate effect on you when you walk in the door.
Well, I guess a big part of it is Baptist Housing is a not-for-profit organization, and we believe in treating all of our residents as if they were family. And so we're not beheld to a wealthy corporate ownership or shareholders.
Right.
And so I've been given the task of ensuring that the building and facilities, the sites, the rooms, the suites, common areas are at as new condition as possible. So that is very generous as an organization to be dedicating those things. And with respect to the team that we have, I think that's one of the atmospheric things that you'll notice upon arrival at ShannonOaks is our team are wonderful. We've been incredibly blessed with people that I'm sure they would show up and do a great job even if they weren't paid, but
they're happy there's an income involved.
We all love working there.
Yeah, we do.
We
Sure.
love
We do.
working there.
And you can tell.
And
Again,
you can
just
tell
when you walk
Yeah.
in.
And we
Yeah.
have the best residents ever. I would be hard-pressed to think
Yeah.
where you could
Yeah.
find such a beautiful arrangement of people that have different faiths, different passions, but together in community,
Yeah.
it's really a spectacular place.
Yeah.
Quickie little question, and you mentioned different faiths, and just before we take the break, this is Baptist Housing. ShannonOaks is one of 16 properties operated by Baptist Housing across British Columbia from the Okanagan to Vancouver Island. Is it necessary to become a resident of any of their communities, to say nothing of ShannonOaks specifically, to be a member of the Baptist faith?
No, and in fact, you don't even have to be of the Christian faith. You can be of another faith, no faith. What continues to steer our values is the acronym of Christ. And so as a leadership, as a senior leadership of the organization, we seek to and desire to have Christ-like attributes come out in how we as the team demonstrate the love of Christ. C for compassion, H, honesty, respect, innovation, stewardship, and team. And around about the time when I started with Baptist Housing, we actually wrote the word fun into our values. So I'm just saying, maybe it's related to me, maybe it's not, but we love to have fun, and that is from our CEO on down.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
And a good inclusion, Sean. An extra little addendum there that doesn't fit the acronym particularly, but a nice exclamation mark,
Absolutely.
if nothing else, right? Our guests are Shawn Wilson and Jillian Fullerton from ShannonOaks, Vancouver, and Victoria. And we'll tell you more about that when we come back on Boomer Life here on CIL 650.
Celebrating the baby boomer lifestyle. This is Boomer Life on CIL 650.